This part deals with variadic parameters. Now sometimes when you're programming a function, you're not too sure how many parameters the user is going to pass to your function. You want to make the function handle a variable amount of parameters. That's where the term variadic parameter comes in, where the number of parameters is not fixed. It can change. You could pass in 2 parameters, you could pass in 5 parameters the next time, and then if you want to pass in 20 parameters the next time. It's up to you as the user how many parameters you want to pass to the function. So the number of parameters is not fixed, it's variable or variadic parameters. So in this example, it's a banking program that keeps track of how much of money I have in my separate bank accounts. So if I have 5 separate bank accounts, I would like this function to tell me what's the total I have in all of these 5 bank accounts. Or if I have 2 bank accounts, it's going to add up the total in one bank account to the next bank account and give me my total worth, how much money I have in these bank accounts. So before I design the function, let me show you what I mean. Suppose I have this amount in one bank account and this amount in another bank account. I want to pass these 2 parameters to the function, and the function should return the sum of these 2 bank account balances. So in this case I'm passing 2 parameters, but the next time I call the function I would like to pass 3 parameters, 3 bank account balances, and then it needs to add up these 3 bank account balances and give me the total of these 3. And the next day I may want to use this function again, but this time I have 5 bank accounts balances and I want to pass 5 parameters to this function. So the challenge here now is, how do we design a function that can handle more than one type of parameter depending on the situation, or variable amount of parameters, not a fixed amount of parameters. Good, so let's build this function. The name of this function is called add my account balances, and I'm passing a parameter called balances, which is type double, because these bank account is currency and dirhams and fills, so it's a double, so it's going to be a double. But the 3 little dots here, these are called ellipses or ellipse, and this indicates that this parameter called balances is variadic. It can either be 1, 2, 3 values, 10 values, 100 values, a variable amount of parameters. Any amount of parameters can come in as the input value, and it's going to add up those account balances and then output the answer and return that back to the caller, and it's going to return a double back to the caller statement. So in the body of the function I define a variable called result, which is of type double. This is going to store the sum of all the balances and set it at initial value of 0. Then I'm going to use the for in loop that's going to step through every single input parameter in balances and then add the old value of result to the balance, the first balance, and get the new value for the result. then use that new value as an old value and add the second balance that comes in, and do that for as many balances that comes in here. So at the end, I will have the final total sitting in this variable called result. And that result, which is a double, then gets sent back to the caller. Let's see how it goes. Once I've defined the function, I now need to call the function, and I call it by this name, add my account balances. And in this example, I'm passing two parameters to the function. Two parameters get passed. The for-in steps through each balance and adds up each balance and puts that into result, and result gets returned back to the caller, and that's what you see outputted here, the sum of these two values. In the next case, I am passing three parameters to the function, and the function again steps through every single balance of those three parameters and sums up those three balances. And in the last case, I am sending 5 balances, and this for loop now is going to run 5 times. So the for in loop in this example, the last calling will run 5 times, the for in loop here will run 3 times, and the for in loop here will run 2 times. So in total, that loop will run 10 times. So this is a good example of how we are not fixed in the number of parameters we can have in a function. We can send in any amount of parameters at any time depending on our situation.